Yo, it is another edition of the iOS Podcast, sponsored by Miller Lite, official partner of the Philadelphia Phillies. Tastes like Miller time, Philadelphia. Celebrate responsibly. It is a sad day. Jack, if you didn't hear the filling time prior, if you're not with us live on Twitter, Jack said it's a sad day before we started. And it is.
Yes.
Look, we both, we talked last pod. I think we both were fine with them moving on from Topper. Something has to happen. And I don't think Topper's done a good job this year, but it is sad. Obviously, I think we've all kind of talked about the fact that there are people who probably deserve to be fired more than Rob Thomson, Dave Dombrowski, the players. And then on top of that, Topper just seemed like one of the better guys we've had around here. I mean, we've interacted with him here and there. I know a lot of people have. He's just a good human. He's just like an awesome person. And he did, on the whole, a pretty good job here, and I think his
highest winning percentage amongst managers ever.
That's to say, yeah.
Pretty dang good.
And, it's not even May, and, just a tough start gets him gone. So not surprising. But I think it's a sad day, Jack, and a bummer. And we'll see where it goes. We'll get to Mattingly and all that. But I think it's just it's a shame that they didn't do better for this guy.
Yeah, and I think the players lost the privilege to play for him. I think that's kind of how I felt for the last couple of days. I think Rob Thomson's a very good manager. I think he's a baseball man. I will never forget. Obviously, Game 1 in Houston was a Rob Thomson masterclass. Game 1 in Atlanta in 2023, a Rob Thomson masterclass. Everything he did in 22 that postseason pretty much worked. And I like this season hasn't gone well. I know that and everything, but that dude did a lot of good and turned around a team and helped turn around a team that was floundering. And for 1 year they went on a magical run. 23, we'll always look back on and wonder if that was the one that they got away, which I do think it was. 2 straight NL East titles, won a lot of games. I'll never forget, and I'll miss asking JT how many more wins Topper. Like that's special stuff, and a genuine, good, kind-hearted baseball man. And overall, that's a bummer. I also think it had to happen. Like it was one of the levers that they had to pull. I'm a little surprised that Kevin Long survived this, but I also think that they just signed him to a 3-year deal this offseason. I don't think that they want to now fire him and pay another hitting coach. They'd rather just say, hey, we've had good results here with him. Like, just let him figure it out. Who knows how the season's going to go anyway? Is the hitting coach really going to shake it up? Moving on from Rob Thomson should be enough of a freaking wake-up call for these guys to grow up and start doing their jobs better. But I am bummed, man. Like I saw the news, of course, on my drive-in, which it always is.
You predicted it. You tweeted out. You're like, I'm driving in. Get ready.
Every single piece of Phillies news breaks when I'm driving. I shout out to the Dunkin' Donuts off 322. Was able to pull in there for a second. I'm sorry I didn't go in and get a coffee, but I just immediately was like, man, I really, 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 really liked Rob Thomson. I really did. And I thought he's a very good manager. I thought he's prepared. But man, there's just been little errors. And we've said a good amount, like it's not his fault. And while I don't think it is his fault, I think he's like 3rd on the pecking order. He had not had a good start to the year.
No, it's everyone's fault. It's just, I would say it's not as much his fault, I think is a better way to put it, but he holds blame. He has not done a good job this year.
No. And really the way they came into the season, I think the arrogance in which they had, the laissez-faire, like we'll just show up and play and win 90 plus games and go to win the NL East again, or be in a dogfight for the NL East. That could permeate from the manager. And there's been little things. I mean, the 6th inning Friday night is a spot where Backus should have been in that ball game to get Michael Harris and be ready to go. And that didn't happen, and it cost them a baseball game. So I'm bummed for him. I also don't think he did a very good job this year. And I'm a little surprised they pulled the trigger this quickly. And I know we'll get to it, but my first thought was, okay, they did it early because they know they have Cora, and it certainly seems like they're not going to have Cora.
Yeah. So for those who didn't see it, Bob Nightingale tweeted out just a few minutes ago, essentially, that they offered Alex Cora the job, but he didn't want it. that he wants to spend time with his family. Who knows if that means he won't want it after the season, if they go back to him, depending on how this plays out. We don't know.
Yeah.
But they did want Alex Cora. They wanted him. They offered the job to him. Obviously, Don Mattingly will be the manager because Cora did not accept it, which is funny because we weren't sure Mattingly even wanted it. But yeah, the Cora thing, I saw that. You sent me that tweet, and it was just like, man, because I'm with you. My predominant feeling that I have right now is sadness. Like I'm bummed about this because I think, even though I think Topper did a bad job this year, I think the 4 years prior, he'd done a really nice job for the most part. And he's had his moments, and obviously he's had some big playoff spots where people disagreed with what he did and all that. But I think on the whole, he's been a damn good manager here. He's been an awesome guy. He's been a big part of this sports scene the last 4 years in Philly. And it just sucks that a 9-19 start on April 28th, the guy doesn't get the chance to try and right the ship.
And that's what I think is the most interesting, is that they didn't trust him to be the right guy to dig them out of this. And that's the one thing where I'm a little surprised, because they have gone on runs before, but I assume that this is also, obviously this goes up to the ownership level, Middleton.
Of course.
He saw what happened in 2022. And it's really hard, I think, to not have that feeling of, well, what if we did it again and tried it? We know managers are mostly replaceable. There's very few difference-making managers in baseball. You only sign them to a 1-year deal after this year, so it's not like you're super committed to him. So, but I do agree, for a guy that does technically have the highest winning percentage amongst managers in Philly's history, they really didn't give him a chance to dig out of this, which is telling about really the job I think they thought he was doing.
I totally agree. I think it's the only takeaway you can have, and I think that, and look, we like Rob Thomson, but I could imagine that there are certain things he's probably not as good at as other managers. I mean, we hear that he's tough on the guys from him behind the scenes. Like, what is Rob Thomson being tough on guys? Like, I don't know that he has that gear. Maybe he does, but I don't know that he has it. But I do think that, look, you got to hope that the players look at themselves in the mirror and say, there was a guy who we loved and we cared about and was a part of this, and he's gone because we sucked. Like, we are the reason he's gone right now. And you hope that lights a fire, obviously, and we'll get to Mattingly. The concern, Jack, is that there is not enough fire in the world that can light, a fire that's needed to get this team going, with the talent they have. And I think ultimately, at the end of the day, if I had to bet, I don't think this propels them towards the playoffs. But I understand when you're 9-19, when you're in the middle of the run that they're in, you got to do something. Like, you can't just say it's a lost season and just keep doing what you're doing. So, like, I think firing Rob was the right move. I think that firing him on April 28th, it's just shock. I'm shocked by it, even though we thought it was going to happen the way this was kind of playing out in a grand scale and like in a macro sense. Like, I can't believe we're sitting here before May 1st talking about Rob Thomson being gone. Like, it is truly shocking, Jack. This is a shocking start to the season in so many ways.
Yeah, and I also do think that they view this upcoming schedule as a time where they can kind of get right.
Yeah.
So doing it now and letting it be like maybe a facade that moving on from Rob Thomson was the thing that sparked it, rather than kind of going through a downtime in the schedule was the thing that kind of saved the season. But overall, yeah, it's for a Hall of Fame level general manager who said last week, we're not pondering it right now, and I don't really evaluate anything until 40 games into the season, to all of a sudden have like a change of course like this. Man, the one thing I have like a fear about, but I would be very surprised, is like, they had to have known that Cora was going to say, like, do they?
Yeah. So when you sent me that tweet, Jack, my first thought was, oh no. Did they think they were going to get Alex Cora and they fired Topper and not get Alex Cora? I can't imagine that Dave Dombrowski would fire a manager assuming he had someone else and not know. Like, I can't.
I agree.
I can't imagine, but like, it's definitely possible. I'm not saying it's not possible.
It's just, it's sort of knee jerky. It's sort of knee jerky for a guy who has done a lot of good here, unless you felt like you had something in the fold. And that's my one thing is like, did they do this knowing that he was going to say? Now, I would
look,
think so.
and let me take it a step further. Is it possible if this plays out this way and they think they had Cora, that Dombrowski goes to Mattingly after not getting Cora and being like, listen, I know you don't want this, but you have to do this. I can't go. I thought I was getting Cora. I didn't. I can't go to Dusty Wathan. People will freak out. Like, I need you to do this for me. Like, who knows, you know?
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't think he wants this job long term. I don't think it's something that Mattingly wants. I think that he's probably doing a solid right now, saying, all right, I'll do it for the rest of the year. He's talked about just wanting to almost be a bench coach, and now he's being thrust.
Yeah, he had talked about wanting to retire prior to that, you know? Yeah.
I know. Overall, I am definitely bummed this is not ending in Alex Cora. I think Mattingly's going to do a pretty good job. So I was not impressed with Don Mattingly's Dodgers tenure. I did not
either.
think
I was more impressed with him in Miami than I was in Los Angeles, even though they were worse. But I thought he did a better job with the young guys in Miami.
Yeah, and that 23 team was good. You know, they made the playoffs, and I don't know if it was like the most stacked team, but I think the 23 team, like he got a team that has a bottom 5 payroll to the playoffs. Like that's impressive. So I was not impressed with him in LA. I was not I was mostly impressed with him in Miami. It's wow how long he was there for. I mean, he was there for JT's rookie year.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So he was the manager in Miami for a long period of time. And I do think the one thing that Mattingly will bring, although again, I can't get a read on if he's a
I don't think he's a freak out at the guys type guy either. It doesn't feel like it.
He doesn't scream like a hard ass either. Nope. He doesn't scream like. No, I think there's a different level of respect in a way.
Yeah, he's Don Mattingly. You know, exactly.
He's Don Mattingly. So maybe if he goes to Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber and say, "You're batting 1-2, okay," and we're not,
and that's it. Yeah,
this nonsense off. Like we're not batting our 232 the slap hitting shortstop leadoff anymore. We're gonna put the big boys up there and let's see if this kind of takes off a little bit. Maybe there's more cachet, I guess, with Don Mattingly. I also think it's interesting. I think it's interesting that Dusty Wathan's off third base coach.
Yeah, bench coach now. And
they elevated him to bench coach. And then Contreras is up from AAA.
AAA manager.
This is, you know, for the real true sickos out there. Pretty thrilled Dusty's off third base.
Me too, man. Me too. He's just never been good at it. He's never been good at it.
Third base coach.
Yeah.
Horrendous third base coach. So I believe Contreras
playing rock, paper, scissors with Andrew McCutchen is literally the only good thing he ever did at third base.
Bench coach makes much more sense. Bench coach makes much more. But I think they're pretty high on Contreras. So him getting up here, maybe if Cora doesn't work out, you know, they could see with what he has or whatever. Like, do they think he has managerial chops? We'll have to see. But I do think Contreras is someone who could be in the plans here going forward. So him being up is interesting. Taking him from the Piggies, man. I mean, listen,
tough.
Iron Pigs off to another good start to the year. Not as dominant as they were last year, but Piggies playing good baseball. So I am definitely happy that Dusty Wathan is off third base. And then maybe we'll see an increase in runs from that perspective.
Yeah, right. Can you imagine they just start winning games? It's like, oh wow, we haven't got someone thrown out at third in 3 months. This is amazing.
Maybe the new third base coach will be able to tell Bryce to not go to second base.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Right? Yeah, maybe Mattingly can. Hey, dude, you know, stop. Yeah. I did. You know, look.
I'm really curious.
Shout out to our guy Preston. I just saw. I think it was Bob Nightingale tweet the first manager GM father son combo in the history of the sport.
Yeah, I mean,
it's fun. It's a neat little thing. Give him a little shout. Come on,
but like,
I know Dombrowski's the president. I know, but it's still pretty neat that we got the Mattingleys here. All right.
Yeah.
I hope positive here today. All right, we love the Mattingleys. God.
Hopefully they can save the season. They can save the season. Right. But very curious what the players say. Very curious. You know, there's going to be locker room availability later today. I want to see what Bryce says. I want to see what Schwarber says, specifically those two about this. And I obviously hope they internalize this and feel like we let our guy down. But I can't explain the way that they've played this year. Like, I don't think it was.
I don't think Rob. Yeah, I don't think if Rob. Like, I don't think any manager would have changed the first 28 games. You know what I mean?
Like, I do think they're trying. They might also be, again.
They might just be bad, man. They might be bad, and guys who aren't bad might just be having down years. Like, I don't think that, like Luzardo, and I think he'll be better than he's been, but it wouldn't be crazy if he had a down year, then was good the rest of the contract after the first kind of real great year he's had. Like, that's possible. I mean, and again, I said from the beginning, I don't think Christopher Sanchez is going to be second in Cy Young again. I don't think Schwarber's going to be second in MVP again. They had all-time great seasons last year. Like, it is possible that, and we've talked about it, that this team just, and I think honestly probable that this team just isn't good enough as they're currently constructed. They're just probably not good enough.
Probably. I do think the one difference between this and when Thomson got hired is I feel like Girardi leaving was a weight off of everyone in that locker room shoulders.
Dude. Totally.
And I don't think that's this. I don't think that is going to be like this big weight lifted off their shoulders. If anything, this could be one of these things where they put even more pressure on themselves to get this thing right. Like, that's where I keep coming back to, where it does feel different this than 22 is I do think they did not like Joe Girardi. And sure, maybe this is something where you guys like this guy and you got him fired. You guys better wake up and do it. But I think that they've been awake for 5 days and they still got blasted by the Braves on Sunday. Nola going out there is not Nola not trying. It's Nola not being good anymore. So, like, that's my fear of this idea that it's going to save the season is Girardi was a weight off this team's shoulders. This is, if anything, it's more weight on their shoulders that Rob Thomson has been fired.
Jack, it's a great point. It's a great, because we remember, I mean, we talked about it a ton with Girardi, the press conferences, the stuff he would say, the way he would like never play young guy. Like, there were so many things where, and you could feel it. The team felt down. They felt like they were mirroring what he was giving us. And we certainly didn't open the Joe Girardi got fired pod and say, oh, it's a sad day. We were like, thank goodness, get rid of this guy. You know, so it is a completely different thing, both, I would assume, in the locker room, certainly for us, but in the clubhouse, I'm sure those guys feel differently about Rob than they did about Girardi. And to the point you made, Jack, like, these guys knew Rob Thompson's job was on the line here.
Of course.
It's not like they were playing like this and we're just like, everything's fine. Like, if they cared about him, which we think they do, I'm sure they were trying to save his job the last couple weeks. You know,
I agree.
It's like, now that he's gone, but all of a sudden they're like, well, we got him fired. Now we got to play good.
I know.
I'm with you. I think it's one of those situations where I think the Phillies had no other choice but to do something here. And this is the thing they chose to do. And it made the most sense. I think it's the biggest lever they had to pull. But just because you pull the lever doesn't mean that everything's going to work out, you know?
And I don't think there's going to be a big vibe change going from Rob Thomson to Don Mattingly. I think they're both laid back, chill
Similar.
guys.
I agree with you.
Again, I think Mattingly obviously has more cachet. He's an MVP and one of the faces of baseball in the 90s. Like, he has more
90s,
80s and 90s. He has more cachet than Rob Thomson does from the standpoint of like being a star level player. But I don't think he's going to come in and start flipping over tables and freaking out on guys. I just don't believe that's what it's going to be. So yeah, I get they had to do it. And rather than, like, now what's on the table is, I think, some of the players, whether it's Bohm, whether it's Stott, getting ready to learn Lehigh Valley a little bit if they don't figure this out, and really just, it feels like that they are, from management and ownership, that they are turning the heat up on this and figuring out who can handle it and who can't. And if you can't handle it, you're going to get shipped out. I mean, they released Taiwan and are paying him $15 million to not pitch for them anymore. You fired Rob Thomson. Now, if you don't turn around under Mattingly, then it starts coming down to some of the players. Like, that's the next thing. And then eventually maybe it'll be on
someday, maybe, potentially, the guy who picked players, maybe.
We'll have to see that one to believe that one, James. But this is an ownership group and a management that I don't think is happy. But at the same time, if I'm some of the players and really the fans, you're also looking at management saying, well, let's go through your track record here.
Yeah, exactly. That's what, because if I'm John Middleton and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this team and why we're struggling, and I'm because I'm the one writing the freaking checks. And I'm thinking, I'm paying $30 million this year to Trey Turner. I'm paying $25 million this year to Aaron Nola. Oh, and I'm paying that much then for the next 4 years after this for Nola, the next 6 years or 7 years, whatever it is for 6 years. I think seven. I thought so. 7. Like,
7.
Like, how can John Middleton not look up and be like, Dave, what the hell, man? Like, right? I mean,
you want to go through a fun? You want to go through a fun exercise? Want to go through a fun exercise?
I'm guessing this isn't actually going to be fun, but yeah, let's do it.
Why don't you tell me the best contract best contract that Dombrowski's handed out during his time here?
Yeah, no,
and I would say it's Schwarber's first one.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's clearly Schwarber's first one.
I would say the second best contract is Matt Strom's first contract.
Sure.
And then after that,
is it
what
the
is
new
it?
Schwarber one? I mean, like, I mean, I don't know.
Turner, Nola, like up and
Taiwan,
Castellanos.
And even then, all the little ones he missed on, like whether it's with Merrifield or Juris Familiar, like this, that, like all these like 1-year dudes just all stunk. Kepler, Romano. It's unbelievable, actually. I mean, total, that's like $50 million we just mentioned in 1-year guys that were all terrible.
And then giving Nola 7 years. And then, like, man, it gets bleak. It's a older roster. And the funniest part, people keep saying like this is because they got old. Well, the old players are actually playing all right besides Turner. Like Turner's not having a good year, but Schwarber and Harper are their best offensive players. I don't know if that's even the case.
By miles. Schwarber and Harper are their only offensive players, sans Brandon Marsh against righties. Like that's it. That's all they got.
That's it. Everything else is squat. Everything else is a bunch of squat. So again, we can try to pretend or have this idea that Mattingly's going to turn it around and like these guys are going to be fired up now, even though I think that's going to put more pressure on them. But regardless, eventually all the breadcrumbs and the trails will lead back to one person, and that is Dave Dombrowski. So
yeah, it has to.
And the other thing is, I know that he has confidence in him. Sure. He basically cut the valve off with Klentak from spending money and saying, we're not doing this anymore. And the thing that has to be on the table and has to be thought about and really considered is you are heading into, barring some unbelievable turnaround here, you are heading into an unbelievably important trade deadline for the future of this franchise. And this is a message for Mr. Middleton. You have to know if Dave Dombrowski is the one that you want making the calls on the future of your franchise, because that's where we are. Like we are at a tipping point, at a crescendo. I don't even know if I'm using the right words, but I'll get my point.
Like a fork in the road.
We're at a fork in the road, right? Yeah. And is he the one that you want making the decisions at this trade deadline for the future of your franchise? And that is something that has to be a real conversation between now and July. He got fired in 2015 in August, so that was August 4th. August 3rd that Nebraska got fired. So that was after the trade deadline. But that has to be on the table now, and I don't know if that's even a consideration at this point, James.
If I had to guess, I don't think it is. Like I think he fired Topper. I'm not saying I think he thinks Dombrowski's doing a perfect job, but I think that he still trusts Dombrowski. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I think.
I agree. I agree.
All right. You got anything else? And you gotta go do this on the radio today.
Fun. Yeah. I mean, again, I hope it works. I hope I hope it's something that can spark the team. I'm super, super bummed about Cora. It really felt like I think we would have been sad about Topper no matter what, because like we said, he's awesome and I like the guy and I would have been bummed for him and in general. But if we were doing a Topper got fired, Cora got hired pod, I think the tone of this pod would be different. It would. Yeah. Now, I do find it funny that they offer him the job, but what about the interview process that everything that is go through?
Everyone's can't hire him because of this.
The total sham that whole situation is. I do think that Cora becomes in play, obviously, this offseason.
I think in the offseason, too.
Probably right now, he's like, dude, I just got fired 3 days ago. Let me just chill at home.
Yeah.
I'm getting
I
paid.
wouldn't blame him. I'm getting paid for the year. I don't need to worry about it. Yeah.
Dude, do you know how great it must be to get hired and fired as a
Dude,
pro sports
can you
coach or a college
imagine?
coach?
Can you imagine just, I'm getting paid millions of dollars to do nothing? It's the dream. That's the dream.
James Franklin, I think, was he a $100 million buyout from Penn State? Why would you coach again?
I wouldn't.
Take 2 years off.
I would take the rest of my life off, Jag. Yes.
Yeah. So Cora can just sit on his money, spend time with his family for the rest of the year. He just got fired, and we'll talk to you again in November. AC, how about that?
We're looking forward to it, Alex.
Yeah.
Be ready for us, pal.
Yeah. So we'll see. But definitely bummed about Thompson. Hopefully this sparks the turnaround. They got a pretty easy-ish enough stretch right now where it could be something that gets him going a little bit. I'm very curious. I think he's talking at 245, Dombrowski. So curious what obviously he has to say. We'll carry that live here on WIP.
Oh, there it is.
And definitely want to hear what the clubhouse has to say, because I'm sure they're feeling down and they feel responsible for this. And I don't know what they're going to say, but I'm very interested in what they have to say.
Love it. All right. 3-game series against the Giants. Feels like a Friday pod week, buddy. Should be fun. We will be back after the series, react to what it looked like with Mattingly, how they played, all that stuff. Crazy day, buddy. Hopefully they can turn it around, because otherwise it's going to be a long summer for us.
Well, again, only a long summer.
Deadline, high pick, all that good stuff, baby.
Listen, only long summer for a little bit. And then the apathy starts kicking in.
That's right. Drops in June, right? I mean, that's going to be a big thing that we can get excited about.
Dude, I am on some sicko stuff with the draft.
I can't wait.
I'm looking at whiff rates on the data on the college hitters. I'm breaking in a 299th player available in the draft.
Can we get a freaking bat? Can we get like a bat
somewhere? Oh, I'm all over it. It is a sick high school pitching class, but we don't have to worry about that on today's podcast. We have plenty of time. Plenty of time.
We'll get there. All right. We'll be back after the Giants series, and we'll miss you, Topper. Good luck, buddy. And
enjoy Canada.
Yeah, right. Enjoy watch
Canada.
Hockey playoffs, money, chill out. Sounds all right.
Dude, Canada in the summer.
It's gonna be beautiful.
Beautiful.
Everyone will be so nice. He'll leave Philly and be like, wow, everyone's so nice.
Yeah.
Would have thought. All right. We'll be back later in the week. Until then, he's Fritz and Seltzer.